Everybody wants success. Everybody wants the big house, the nice car, the freedom to wake up and do what they love. But very few people are willing to control the one thing that decides whether they get it or not, their mindset. Your mind is either your greatest employee or your worst boss. If you let it wander, it'll fill your life with fear, doubt, excuses, and procrastination. But if you train it, discipline it, and make it obey your purpose, there is no limit to what you can become. Discipline is the bridge between where you are today and where you want to be tomorrow. Many people believe that success belongs to the smartest person, the richest person, or the most talented person in the room. But time has proven something different. Talent may give you an advantage, but discipline determines how far you will go. There are thousands of talented people who never reached their potential because they relied on motivation instead of commitment. On the other hand, there are ordinary people who achieved extraordinary success simply because they showed up every single day, regardless of how they felt. That's the power of discipline. It doesn't ask for perfect conditions. It doesn't wait for the right mood. It simply says, do what needs to be done. Every morning you wake up with a choice. One path leads toward comfort and the other leads toward growth. Comfort whispers, sleep a little longer, skip today's work, you deserve a break. Growth says, get up, stay focused. Your future is waiting. Most people choose comfort because it's easier in the moment. But every easy decision today creates a harder life tomorrow. Every disciplined decision today creates an easier future. That's why successful people understand something that others often ignore. They don't let temporary feelings decide permanent outcomes. The greatest battle you will ever fight is not against another person. It's not against competition, bad luck, or difficult circumstances. The greatest battle happens inside your own mind. Every day, your mind will offer you excuses. It will tell you that you're tired, that you're not ready, that you'll start next week, or that someone else has a better chance than you. Those thoughts will always exist. The difference between successful people and everyone else is not that they never hear those voices. The difference is that they refuse to obey them. They acknowledge the excuses, then continue moving forward anyway. Discipline is not something you are born with. It's a habit you build through repetition. The first few days will feel uncomfortable because your mind naturally resists change. Your brain wants to conserve energy and stay inside familiar routines. That's why building new habits feels difficult at first. But every time you choose action over excuses, you strengthen your discipline like a muscle. The more you practice it, the stronger it becomes. Eventually, the things that once felt impossible become part of your daily routine. Think about athletes who train before sunrise. Think about entrepreneurs who continue working after everyone else has gone home. Think about students who keep studying while others are distracted by entertainment. None of these people succeed because every day is exciting. They succeed because they understand that consistency beats intensity. Anyone can work hard for one day. Anyone can feel motivated after watching an inspiring video. The real challenge is showing up when nobody is watching, when progress seems invisible, and when results haven't appeared yet. Discipline teaches patience. It reminds you that meaningful success is rarely immediate. A seed planted today doesn't become a tree tomorrow. It grows little by little, day after day, beneath the surface before anyone can even see it. Your efforts work the same way. Every hour you spend learning a skill, every page you read, every workout you complete, every project you finish is quietly shaping your future. You may not notice dramatic changes overnight, but those small actions are creating momentum that will eventually become impossible to ignore. One of the biggest mistakes people make is expecting life to become easier after they become successful. In reality, successful people often carry greater responsibilities than everyone else. The difference is that discipline prepares them to handle those responsibilities. It gives them confidence because they know they can trust themselves. They don't depend on emotion. They depend on routines. They don't hope they'll make progress. They schedule progress. That's why discipline creates freedom. When you consistently improve yourself, opportunities begin to appear that never existed before. There will be days when you fail. You might miss a workout, procrastinate on an important task, or make mistakes that leave you disappointed. Discipline doesn't mean perfection. It means refusing to let one bad decision become a permanent pattern. Missing one day is an event. Quitting completely is a choice. Learn from your setbacks, forgive yourself quickly, and return to the path. Every successful person has experienced failure, but disciplined people never allow failure to become their final destination. They understand that one mistake cannot erase months or years of consistent effort unless they decide to stop altogether. Your environment also influences your discipline. If you surround yourself with distractions, negativity, and people who constantly make excuses, staying focused becomes much harder. But when you spend time with people who challenge you to grow, who encourage accountability, and who value hard work, discipline becomes part of your lifestyle. Your daily choices, the books you read, the conversations you have, and the content you consume all shape the way you think. Protect your mind because your habits will always follow your thoughts. At the end of the day, discipline is a promise you make to yourself. It's choosing your future over your comfort, your purpose over your excuses, and your long-term goals over short-term pleasure. Every disciplined action, no matter how small, sends a powerful message to your mind that you are serious about becoming the person you were created to be. Over time, those small victories build confidence. Confidence builds momentum, and momentum creates the success that once seemed impossible. Motivation feels exciting because it creates a burst of energy. It makes you believe that today is the day you'll change your life. You watch an inspiring video, read a powerful quote, or hear a successful person's story, and suddenly you feel unstoppable. You make plans, write goals, and promise yourself that nothing will stand in your way. But then the next morning arrives and the excitement is gone. The alarm rings, your body feels tired, your mind starts making excuses, and the same dream that looked so close yesterday suddenly feels far away. This is where most people stop. They mistake the absence of motivation for the end of their journey. But the truth is, motivation was never meant to carry you all the way. It only starts the engine. Discipline is what keeps the vehicle moving. If success depended on motivation, everyone would achieve their dreams because almost everyone feels inspired at some point. Every New Year's Day, millions of people decide to change their lives. They promise to exercise every day, learn new skills, save money, or start a business. For a few weeks, they are full of excitement. Then reality begins to test them. Work becomes difficult. Progress feels slow. Unexpected problems appear. The excitement disappears, and so do the goals. The problem wasn't that they lacked talent. The problem was that they relied on a feeling instead of building a habit. Discipline works differently. It doesn't ask whether you're excited or tired. It doesn't care if the weather is perfect or if life feels unfair. Discipline simply reminds you of your commitment. It says, you made a promise to yourself, keep it. That's why disciplined people continue working even when they don't feel like it. They understand that emotions are temporary, but the results of consistent action can last a lifetime. Think about a professional athlete preparing for an important competition. Do you believe they wake up every single morning feeling motivated? Of course not. There are days when their muscles ache, when they're mentally exhausted, and when staying in bed sounds far more appealing than training. Yet they still put on their shoes, enter the gym, and complete the workout. Why? Because they know that champions are not created by moments of inspiration. They are created by thousands of disciplined choices made when nobody is watching. The same principle applies to every area of life. A successful student doesn't study only when the subject feels interesting. A successful entrepreneur doesn't work only when business is booming. A successful writer doesn't write only when inspiration strikes. They all understand that waiting for motivation is like waiting for perfect weather before planting seeds. If you keep waiting for ideal conditions, you'll never begin. Discipline gives you control over your actions instead of allowing your emotions to control them. Your feelings change constantly. One moment you're confident, the next you're doubtful. One day you're energetic, the next you're exhausted. If your progress depends on emotions that change every hour, your life will always move in circles. Discipline creates stability. It allows you to make progress even during difficult seasons because your actions are based on decisions, not emotion. One reason discipline is so powerful is that it builds trust within yourself. Every time you say you'll do something and actually follow through, your confidence grows. You begin to believe in your own word. But every time you break promises to yourself, your self-confidence quietly weakens. Imagine telling a friend you'll meet them every morning at 6 o'clock, but you keep canceling at the last minute. Eventually, they will stop trusting you. The same thing happens inside your own mind. If you constantly ignore your own commitments, your mind learns that your promises don't matter. Discipline rebuilds that trust one action at a time. Another important truth is that discipline makes difficult tasks easier over time. The first day you wake up early feels painful. The first workout feels exhausting. The first attempt at learning a new skill feels frustrating, but repetition changes everything. What once seemed impossible slowly becomes normal. That's because discipline transforms actions into habits. Habits require less mental effort, allowing you to continue improving without constantly fighting yourself. Success is rarely about doing something extraordinary once. It's about doing ordinary things extraordinarily well day after day. Life will always give you reasons to quit. There will be setbacks, disappointments, failures, criticism, and moments when nothing seems to be working. Motivation often disappears during those moments because it thrives on excitement and quick progress. Discipline, however, becomes even more valuable during difficult times. It reminds you that temporary struggles do not define your future. Every challenge is another opportunity to prove that your commitment is stronger than your circumstances. The people you admire are not successful because they always felt inspired. They became successful because they learned to keep moving even when inspiration disappeared. They understood that motivation may open the door, but discipline keeps walking through it. Every great achievement is built on countless days of ordinary effort, repeated consistently over months and years. Long after excitement fades, discipline continues working quietly in the background, shaping character, building resilience, and creating the kind of success that lasts. Success is often imagined as one extraordinary moment, a major breakthrough, a lucky opportunity, or a single life-changing decision. People see the final result and believe it happened overnight. They admire the successful business, the championship trophy, the best-selling book, or the dream career without realizing that every one of those achievements was built through hundreds of small, ordinary actions repeated over time. The truth is that success is not created by one giant leap. It is built by daily consistency. The little things you choose to do every day eventually become the big things that shape your future. Imagine trying to build a house. You cannot place one brick and expect a finished home. Every brick matters, even though each one seems insignificant on its own. Day after day, brick after brick, the structure begins to take shape. Skip too many bricks and the foundation becomes weak. Your goals work the same way. Every chapter you read, every hour you practice, every healthy choice you make, and every task you complete is another brick added to the life you are creating. While each action may seem small, together they form something powerful. Many people fail because they underestimate the value of consistency. They believe they need to do something massive to change their lives, so they wait for the perfect opportunity. They think they'll start when they have more time, more money, more confidence, or better circumstances. But successful people understand that progress begins with whatever they have today. They don't focus on making huge improvements overnight. Instead, they focus on becoming just a little better every single day, over weeks, months, and years. Those small improvements produce extraordinary results. Consistency is powerful because it creates momentum. The first step is usually the hardest. The second becomes a little easier. The third feels more natural. Eventually, the action becomes part of your daily routine. This is why successful people value habits more than temporary bursts of effort. Working hard for one weekend cannot replace months of steady progress. Reading one book won't make you an expert, but reading consistently over several years can completely transform your knowledge. Exercising once won't change your health, but exercising regularly can change your entire life. There will be days when your progress feels invisible. You may study for hours without seeing immediate improvement. You may work on your goals for weeks without receiving recognition. During these moments, it's easy to become discouraged, but consistency teaches patience. Just because you cannot see results today doesn't mean your efforts are being wasted. Growth often happens beneath the surface before it becomes visible. Just as a tree develops strong roots underground before growing tall above the ground, your consistent efforts are strengthening your skills, character, and confidence long before others notice. Daily consistency also builds self-confidence. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you prove that you are reliable. You begin to trust your ability to follow through, even when life becomes challenging. Confidence doesn't come from talking about your dreams. It comes from taking action repeatedly until your actions become part of your identity. Over time, you stop seeing yourself as someone who is trying to succeed and start seeing yourself as someone who consistently does what successful people do. The greatest advantage of consistency is that it doesn't require perfection. You don't have to be the smartest person, the most talented individual, or the luckiest competitor. You simply have to keep showing up. Some days your performance will be excellent, and other days it will be average. What matters is refusing to stop. Missing one opportunity or having one difficult day does not destroy your future. Giving up does. Every day you continue moving forward, even by a small amount, you separate yourself from those who quit when the journey becomes difficult. Over time, those steady, disciplined actions become the foundation of lasting success, proving that greatness is never the result of one extraordinary effort, but the reward for ordinary actions performed with extraordinary consistency. Every person has dreams, goals, and ambitions. Some want to build a successful business. Others want financial freedom, better health, meaningful relationships, or a life filled with purpose. Yet there is one obstacle that silently stands between people and the future they desire. It is not a lack of intelligence. It is not a lack of opportunity. It is the habit of making excuses. Excuses may feel harmless in the moment, but they slowly steal your potential. They make you believe that your circumstances are stronger than your determination. The truth is simple. Your excuses will never create your future. Only your actions will. An excuse often sounds reasonable. I'm too tired. I'll start next week. I don't have enough money. I don't know enough yet. The timing isn't right. These thoughts feel convincing because they offer temporary comfort. They protect you from discomfort, failure, and uncertainty. But every excuse has a hidden cost. While it allows you to avoid today's challenge, it also delays tomorrow's success. The longer you repeat the same excuses, the more they become part of your identity until you begin believing that progress is impossible. Successful people face the same obstacles as everyone else. They also experience fear, self-doubt, rejection, and failure. The difference is not that they have fewer problems. The difference is that they refuse to let those problems become permanent reasons to stop. Instead of asking, why can't I, they ask, how can I? That single shift in thinking changes everything. One mindset searches for barriers, while the other searches for solutions. Life will never offer perfect conditions. If you wait until everything feels easy, you may spend your entire life waiting. There will always be unexpected expenses, difficult responsibilities, stressful moments, and challenges you didn't plan for. If perfect timing were required for success, no one would ever achieve greatness. Those who accomplish extraordinary things understand that progress begins before confidence arrives. They take action while they are still learning, still improving, and still uncertain. They know that action creates clarity while excuses create delay. One of the greatest dangers of excuses is that they sound logical. They convince you that you're being realistic when in reality you're simply avoiding discomfort. Every dream requires sacrifice. Every meaningful goal demands effort. Growth always asks you to leave your comfort zone. Excuses invite you to stay exactly where you are because comfort feels safe. But comfort rarely produces transformation. You cannot build a stronger future while constantly protecting yourself from temporary difficulty. Every excuse also shifts responsibility away from yourself. It's easy to blame the economy, your background, your education, your age, or other people for where you are today. While some challenges are real and unfair, allowing them to control your future only gives them more power. The moment you accept responsibility for what you can control, you regain the ability to change your direction. You may not control every circumstance, but you always control your response. Imagine two people standing at the same starting line. Both have similar talents, similar opportunities, and similar dreams. One spends years explaining why success hasn't happened yet. The other spends those same years taking small, consistent actions every single day. At first, the difference between them is almost invisible. But as time passes, the gap becomes enormous. One person is still talking about what they hope to do someday, while the other is living the life they once imagined. The difference was never luck. It was the decision to replace excuses with action. Your future is shaped by the choices you make today, not the reasons you give for avoiding them. Every time you overcome an excuse, you strengthen your character. Every time you choose action instead of delay, you move one step closer to the person you want to become. Success never asks how many excuses you had. It only responds to the work you were willing to do. The people who achieve lasting greatness are not those with perfect lives or perfect circumstances, but those who decide that their dreams are more important than the excuses trying to keep them where they are.